Hallo und willkommen zu der Deutschen Wochenschau. Now, for tonight, I thought it'd be good to start off kind of slow, not go that deep into a subject, just kind of have a good introduction, considering this is the first real episode of the series. And I wanted to start out with something that is more wider known, and that would be the Deutsches Ahnenerbe. Now, the Ahnenerbe was founded by Heinrich Himmler. I know you probably recognize that name. It's this gentleman here. In 1935, it was kind of an arm of the SS, and its primary goal was to explore the origins of the so-called Aryan race, more so the Nordic race, but I digress, in all manner of countries and regions, because the thinking of the time to more justify the expansion that Hitler and his whole regime championed was that the Nordic people, those of Germanic origin, were behind every significant technological progression in all of human history. The way they did this was they went to the German Archaeology Institute and they took those remaining who weren't afraid to stand up to Hitler and didn't really want to teach what Himmler wanted being taught, and they kind of forced them into an earlier retirement, and they replaced them with those who would be loyal to the Aryan teachings. And they really just took it and ran. They invested in the entire archaeology community in Germany, and they went everywhere. I mean, they had expeditions in Germany, of course, in France, in Poland, in the Russian frontier when they conquered it under Operation Barbarossa. They had it in Italy, in Ukraine, in Eurasia, even as far as Tibet and Antarctica when they had those Nazi Antarctic expeditions. A lot of people forget about that. Perhaps I'll cover that in another episode. Really deserves one. But they even had plans, canceled plans, of course. They didn't have that much time really to explore a whole lot of this, to search in Bolivia and Iran, even the Canary Islands and Iceland, just looking for these artifacts that they wanted to find of a greater ancient Aryan civilization. And funnily enough, this whole scenario actually deeply disturbed Hitler. He was very angry at Himmler at times for how he was wowed by these mud huts that he was digging up, because while the Romans had their aqueducts and their colosseums and everything else that they had, the Germanic people were more nomadic, more primitive. They just had stone tools and lived in mud huts, as Hitler said. And he really would have preferred Himmler stay more quiet about this subject. So it was actually an embarrassing point for Hitler. But Himmler as an individual was kind of interesting. He wanted to take what he was finding with the Aryan race and kind of build off of that. He saw the SS as kind of a continuation almost of the Teutonic Knights. In fact, he actually took over the Church of the Teutonic Order in Vienna when under the Anschluss of Austria. But he wanted to eventually phase out the Christian religion and replace it with a form of German paganism. Himmler was interested in the occult from a very young age, and always kind of had been. In fact, he in his later years under the Ahnenerbe, he actually he actually challenged the whole basis of Christian marriage. It's kind of interesting. Perhaps I'll do a deeper dive on him sometime. But in short, the Nazis used archaeology to justify their expansion into other territories and to justify their war against the Jewish people. And all the while, Himmler was trying to replace Christianity with paganism. It sounds like a conspiracy theory you'd find on Facebook, but I promise you it is true. There are very good videos available on this platform, no less, about this subject, ones that go into a lot deeper detail than I did. And I encourage you to go and watch them and see for yourself. They do the subject more justice than I ever could. But on that note, thank you for watching, and next Friday I should have something a little more interesting for you, a little more well-refined. I kind of rushed this, I will admit to you, but thank you for watching. I'll see you next week, and cheers.